Rick Keys Music Caravan. Notice I'm not a patient anymore. The doctor's gone, and it's me, the authentic Rick Keys. I am back. My nose isn't totally perfectly healed, but good enough for today. Still in the healing mode, but at least I don't have to wear my silly hat. You guys remember this hat? Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have to wear that one. And Dr. Keys is back to work. So, anyway, this is Rick Keys, the patriarch, the father, the grandfather, the I don't know. I'm not going to say that. The most important part of the Rick Keys family. So, authentic Rick Keys. What do we got today? Hey, so we got some music here for you. This one is from Ilana Katz. By the way, Rick Keys, being me's, I'm about ready to choose my top 2022 blues albums for 2022. So stay tuned. I got one coming up today. You're really going to like them, Dion. But before we get to that point, let's go ahead and start with some other music here. Ilana Katz, the lady with the two last names, she actually, this release called Blues and Old Time Fiddle. Yeah, that's still hard to see. Okay, see it? All right, Ilana Katz. Anyway, so she does play mean fiddle, and we are going to play more of her music. Her most recent CD made it to the Rick Keys Music Caravan top. I think it was 2020 or 2021 blues album release list because it was so unique. Speaking of unique, so you're going to hear some of that music. Andre Herbert. It could be Andre Herbert, or it could be Henry Herbert. Lots of different choices, but I think it's Andre Herbert. Boogie Till I Die. That's what I'm going to do as a radio show. Well, it's not even radio anymore. It's a music show. Rick Keys. See that? Rick Keys Music Caravan Blues Show. Okay, we got a new one here from a gentleman named Billy Truitt, Truitt. It's called Abstract Truth. I gave Billy a little hand. I told him that my show, I'm only doing it on YouTube, so no radio anymore. Done with radio. We're only doing it on YouTube. So if you want to be a artist that's heard on the Rick Keys Music Caravan YouTube show, then make sure you have a song that I can download and post onto my playlist that's on YouTube, because I'm pretty much solely on YouTube right now. And you know how to get to that. You go to Rick Keys, Keys, Rick Keys Music Caravan on YouTube. You subscribe, and after you subscribe, then you press the bell. That bell brings my show into your home on a weekly basis with new stuff. Also, there's a thumb icon. Press that. It helps spread the good news of Rick Keys Music Caravan to you and to the world. And finally, also, you can get it on. No, that wasn't a sign meaning anything. It's just a little itchy. So you can also get Rick Keys Music Caravan on Twitter and on Facebook. Okay, so here's another new one that I hunted and searched for. They're from Dublin, Ireland. They're called Crazy Crow. They have a release called Moving On. So I've been playing their music because they are moving on. They're doing pretty darn good, pretty well, getting lots of plays here at the Rick Keys Music Caravan, and I'm sure in Europe. Steve Harvey, he's on YouTube also. He sent me a CD, a recent one. It's called Big Road Blues. So Steve Harvey, cool guy. Here's another one that I found via my searches, whether it be on YouTube or social media. They found me, I found them, and I found their music to be good. Gretchen Emery Band, If Love Were Enough. If love were enough, you'd all be listening to me. But Good Trouble is another release. This one's a new one from Annika Chambers and Paul Deslauriers. You like that? He's from, I think, Toronto, not Toronto, but Quebec. He's French. Deslauriers. Hard one to say. Desolare. Okay, this young gentleman, I really think he's cool. Ben Levin, he's got a new release, puts one out almost every year, and they're all good. Take Your Time. He's on Viztone record label. Ben Levin. Okay, here's another one on Viztone Records. The Lucky Losers of being Kathy Lemons and Phil Berkowitz. Stan and Pat, brand new release. You'll hear some of that. Bad Daddy. What's the name? Bad Daddy. It's a mad, mad, bad dad world. So you'll hear some of that. Reverend Nathan. Reverend Keys likes Reverend Nathan only because he has Reverend in his name. No, actually, the music is good too. Reverend Nathan, Volume 1. You'll hear some of that. All right, now we're getting into the Roots Music Report's top blues albums for last week. But before we get there, we were, or who was that? That was Bushwhacker Keys. Bushwhacker Keys played some music from Australia for you, and he ended with a Hamish Anderson. And I'm going to start with a Hamish Anderson. He is from Australia, as I mentioned. It's from one of his most recent releases called Out of My Head. But there were some pretty cool songs here that kind of reminded me of America right at the moment. One of the songs on there was Breaking Down. Well, that seems like we've been doing that since 2020. Been getting worse since we had a certain president get elected. However, so Breaking Down, kind of the state of America right at the moment. And I guess the other there's actually quite a few songs that fit America. There was Damaged Goods. But I'm not going to use that one. The other one was World's Gone Mad. Okay, so Hamish hits two, not one, but two of the problems in America and the world, Breaking Down and World's Gone Mad. You bet it's gone mad. Okay, now we're getting into one of my selections for Rick Key's Music Caravan top blues album releases for 2022. Actually, Dion came out and Stomping Ground came out in November 19th of 2021. And I was wondering why I didn't see him in 2021 because he came out so late. Finally found his music. And since he came out so late, I'm putting him in my top 2022 release, Stomping Grounds. As you can see, he's got a ton. I think on radio, you had these like 9 words or 7 words you couldn't say, like shit, screw, fuck, doc, blah, 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 all those different ones. You couldn't say shit. Hey, shit is so common nowadays. I can't see why you can't say shit. So I don't give a shit anymore. This is YouTube. So there are a lot of good shit on this one. And this is Dion, Stomping Ground, a lot of great artists. He did make it to the Rick Key's top blues release albums for 2022. Okay, now we're here at on the Roots Music Report chart from last week. So up from number 59 to number 47, we got Strat Cat Willie and the Strays with On a Hot Tin Roof. Okay, so a lot of good songs on that one. Actually moved up from 59 to 47. They're back in play. Actually, so is this group. Levittown, they were up in the top 20 there for a while, way early in the year. Then they kind of dropped out. That's kind of what happens on this chart and a lot of charts is DJs are on-air personalities, internationally known on-air personalities like myself. Remember Rick Keys. We get music on a weekly basis. We listen to it and we select and they go onto a chart, who gets played most. So a lot of these bands and artists that number 1, number 10, whatever, early in the year, but then they kind of drop out because people have heard them so much, and then newer ones come in and kind of take over. But Levittown was up there, and they're back. They came back from number 75 to number 46. They are keeping their head above water, just like us citizens in the United States of America. Okay, let's continue now. Number 43, Misty Blues. You see that little, that's one louder. What did you say? One louder. Misty Blues. You see that little tag on there. That means that that one made it to the Rick Keys Music Caravan Top 2022. But we're not going to focus on that one. We are going to focus on Dion on today. David Lumsden moved up quite a bit from what was he before? He was at number 61 to number 41. This is Rooted in the Blues. That's a nice jump for David. You notice he signed that to yours truly. Now, this one's kind of interesting. I've been noticing that some of the things that I've been playing, even though I'm like just YouTube, I'm not, the big radio on Sirius. But I noticed that some of the people that I wouldn't even have expected to make it to the Roots Music Report chart, because I kind of found them, and these guys were local in Sylmar, California. All of a sudden, I start playing it, and guess what? Mark Pocket Goldberg, his release, which I thought was really good, it actually is number 37 as a new release. So apparently someone's listening to the Rick Keys Music Caravan Blues Show. Probably the most astute listeners out there. They're listening to see what I think is good, and then they know it's good, and then they decide to put it on there. But anyway, that's just my conspiracy theory. Janova Magnus, Hard to Kill. She is at number 31. Very pretty album cover. Into Your Blues by Johnny Sansone. This is another one that looks like it's going to make it to my top 2022. He currently is at number 29. Oh, Kat Riggins. Kat Riggins doing pretty darn good with her new release, Progeny. And it looks like she's got that little tag on hers too. So congratulations. We'll be hearing more of Kat Riggins. Currently, Kat moved up from 46 to 25. It's because I've been playing her music. So apparently people are listening to the Rick Keys Music Caravan Blues Show. Okay, here's another one that made it to my list. And funny, it's still on the list. Not a coincidence. GA20 Crackdown, and they moved up quite a bit. What'd they move up from? They moved up from 45 to 18. That's because I've been playing them. So apparently there are a lot of people unknown, kind of like the voters. You don't know who they're going to vote for yet. Kind of hidden voters. I think there's hidden listeners out there that are really listening to my show, but they're just too embarrassed to say that they are. Let's continue. So that was GA20. And number 17, Bob Corritore and Friends, You Shocked Me. By the way, Bob Corritore is going to be at Humphrey's Backstage in November. I don't want to give the exact date in case I give it wrong, but I believe it's November 14th. Bob Corritore and John Primer. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to be there. You guys can come. I might give you an autograph, but try to get John Primer's and Bob Corritore's first. They're a little more important than me. Speaking of important, Val Starr and the Blues Rocket. Her show, her album, Healing Kind of Blues, has been in the top of the Roots Music Report chart for almost a whole year now. And she was kind of out. She moved up like in the top layers. Then all of a sudden she came back, and she's still coming back. So she moved up from number 26 to number 16. That Val Starr. Yep. She's kind of like the Deb Ryder of last year. Even Deb Ryder's popping her head back up there. Okay, but Deb Ryder did make it to the Rick Keys Music Caravan Top Blues Albums for 2021. Congratulations. That's a pretty prestigious award. John Primer. This one is sounding pretty darn good. I just got it, and it's called Hard Times by John Primer. And as I mentioned before, John Primer is going to be with Bob Corritore. Humphrey's Backstage. A lot of great music on this one. I'd never heard John Primer before, and I have now, and I really like him. So last but not least, because I don't have number one, I've got number 3. Oh, did I say that John Primer was number 4? And then what else we got here? We got Shamikia Copeland, Alligator Record Labels. Done Come Too Far. She is number 3 on that Roots Music Report chart for last week. So stay tuned. You guys all know how to listen now. This is the authentic Rick Keys. I am the real one. We have many family members that always come in to support me in my time of need. And I want to thank Dr. Keys. My nose is doing a little bit better. At least there's not a hole in it. So I can seem to breathe better, which is good for you. And then I want to thank who else is out here? Oh, we had the what's his name? Bushwhacker Keys from Australia. He did a pretty good job. So anyway, oh, I failed to mention it's that time of year again. Dark Keys is going to be here next week. So beware and stay tuned. Rick Keys Music Caravan Blues Show coming up. There you go.